Hello, Storm Team. Check your contract. Exterminating dragons is part of the job. And that's what we're going to do on this beautiful mountaintop here with 2 hammers. This mission, I want to talk about mountain liberation. The way this mission goes is there's 5 groups of enemies, and then there's 4 groups of dragons that come in. And as far as I can tell, it seems like the dragons get faster throughout the wave, at least the last wave. Because the reason I say that is you can start out by kiting the dragons with a twin catapult and spine driver and you're fast enough, but towards the end it's impossible to dodge all the dragons, so it makes me think that they actually increase in speed. Anyway, let's get started with the equipment here first. In my opinion, the best setup is probably taking at least 1 air raider. The reason is Air Raider has some really good bunkers that he can use to help fight the dragons, which makes it a lot easier. Such as if you're playing on Inferno, of course, absolute bunkers, you can stack those, you know, about a foot or 2 apart, and then just stand in between them, and have the rest of the team stand inside of that while they fight the dragons. Or he can also take, you know, if there's 2 Air Raiders, you could always take 2 sets of Zexar guns or, you know, Zera guns, whatever difficulty you're playing on, which works really well as well for this. But yeah, my recommendation would personally be, especially higher difficulties, I would take bunkers and then take something to fight the dragons, whether it be Skywire Trap even, or, you know, Zexar guns. And then for a vehicle, I would highly recommend taking a walking fortress. You won't have it right away, of course, but towards the end of the mission you'll have it, and that's where when you need it, the 3rd wave, or the 4th wave rather, of dragons. You'll have at least 1 out, and then during the middle of the fight you'll get a 2nd one as well, so you can always call another one in if you need it. But that's what I recommend for Air Raider. As far as Ranger goes, we actually did complete Ranger, me and a friend together, just 2 Rangers, and the way we had to do it was, what we used was, we used fire, so either a flame geyser or a napalm. And what we did was we hugged the corner of a mountain, like, you know, where there's a steep cliff. You can just follow along that cliff line and just move backwards the whole time and try and get, you know, on the, you know, away from the dragons so that they're coming towards you. And what we did was we just fired shots of fire, the napalm, against the wall and on the ground, and the dragons would fly into it. And then we had, I think we had just 1 person with the fire, and we had, of course, a healing bomb, which you're going to probably need, especially on higher difficulties. And then we took fusion blasters as well, just to kill the reds really fast when you needed to. But that was the only way we could figure out with Ranger to do it, because it's really tough with Ranger, honestly, on this mission. Also, if you want to help the team out, if you have a team that's can be up front like a fencer, you can always take missiles, like the MLRA TW is pretty good, because it'll knock the dragons out of the air if you hit them as well. So it's always a thought, and, you know, Emerald can also work if you have higher difficulty. But Ranger does struggle with this mission, of course. Wing Diver also is pretty good. On lower difficulties you can get away with just kiting the dragons. So for that I would always take a rapier and then a laser, and just because those are low energy cost weapons. And then you can just, the best way to do it is to fly in a circle, like in a large circle, and that way the dragons will try and hit you, and they'll land on the ground, they'll miss you, and then you'll just circle around them, and they'll just pile up like in a group in the middle, and then you can just kill them as they pile up. On lower difficulties, of course. On higher difficulties, the last wave will probably kill you, so it wouldn't be wise to use that. So for her, I'm not sure if you could solo it with her on Inferno, honestly. It's possible, I'm sure, but the best thing I would think would be to take something that knocks the dragons out of the air. So you can use a Fenrir, or you can use a Mirage. The Mirage 5 one will actually do explosive damage, which will knock them out of the air. Has a good range as well. Possibly Ghost Chaser as well, but I haven't really tested that one out, honestly. But once again, she would be more of a support. Like if you had the absolute bunkers down, you know, and you had a Master Rapier, you know, you're going to kill just about everything, and you'll be pretty safe as well. And if anything bites you, you can always kill it instantly with it. But that's what I recommend for Wing Diver. For Fencer, honestly, 2 hammers and a catapult setup works really good, at least for the first you know, the 90% of the mission, and just until the end, it's pretty rough to survive, unless of course you're on lower difficulties. But I actually did a fencer run, which I'm going to show here in the video here, with me and another friend with 5,000 armor, and we were actually able to get it done with 2 hammers. But it is definitely rough, and we had to do quite a few tries to make it work. But we finally got it to work. But like I said, even on Inferno, you can survive pretty well with a catapult and a spine driver, or you know, another weapon you like, just for the first few waves of dragons and ants. But that last wave, you're not fast enough. And also, even trying 2 twin spears, trying to use that to be fast enough isn't fast enough either. So you have to find another way to do it. So I'll show you what we found out, what we came up with. Yeah, let's go ahead and get started into the video then. Alright, let's get started here. Right at the start, I'm not going to grab the NPCs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the left side, and if you're fast enough, you can quickly kill these ants before the first dragon wave comes. But if you prefer, you can just wait for the first dragon wave and just fight right there. But since I have a fencer, I'm going to go ahead and kill these ants really quick. Because the first wave, as far as I can tell, is just time-based. So here comes the first set of dragons. I'm going to go ahead and take them since I have the catapult. My setup is spine driver, catapult, and then 2 finest hammers. And then his setup is 2 sets of high impact missiles, and then 2 hammers as well, 2 finest hammers as well. So I'm just going to circle around, and like I said, you're fast enough on the first part to actually stay alive with the spine driver and catapult. So I'm just circling around, and you have to be careful with the person that missiles at the start, because we found that they were actually pulling more enemies than we wanted to, because the first missile would hit the dragon and knock it into the map somewhere, and the second missile would kill the dragon, but it would kill it near another set of enemies, so we don't want to pull another set. Now I'm going to go back and help fight the spiders at the beginning, which he was actually doing while I was away. But there's a set of spiders right at the start, right down the hill, which we're also going to kill. So I'm just making sure that they're all dead. But yeah, the unfortunate part about this mission is not many places to hide. There's a few houses, but they're really not good enough to, at least that we could find, to actually hide inside and stay protected. So you kind of have to stay mobile, or like I said, use absolute bunkers to stay safe. And you can place the bunkers against the. Okay, so the next dragon wave you actually can pull by going to the edge of the cliff, by that house there that I went around. You just go to the edge of the cliff, and then it'll spawn the dragons for some odd reason. So that's what I do. And some of the dragons go to him as well, so he's fighting over there. And I'm going to fight this other half. It's like half and half. Come from the right and the left side. So, yeah, right across from the house, if you go just to the edge of the cliff in front of the house, it'll pull the next set of dragons. So now I'm going to go back and grab the wing divers, because since I'm more mobile, I'm just going to go ahead and take them, because they'll actually survive longer with me than with him, because he's standing still. And they might walk in front of the missiles as well. So I'm going to grab the wing divers and heal up. And then that's the second set of dragons, which, like I said, is not too bad. Now what he's going to do is there's a spawn of spiders all the way down the bottom of the map, left corner, and that's what he's going to go down to that corner and kill them, because when he kills those spiders, the third wave is going to spawn, and they're going to spawn from up top of the mountain where I'm at. So that's why I'm going to stay here, because I'm going to kill them, and he's going to stay away from them because he has missiles. So he's going to go down there and he's going to attack him with the missiles and then finest hammer. And so I'm pretty much trying to stay in the front line the whole time, and he's going to eventually help me in the front line with the missiles to knock down the dragons. And what he did was he would shoot the missiles alternating. He wouldn't shoot them both at the same time. He would shoot one side and then the other side, so he's always having missiles going, because that'll save my life because of the dragon's speed. I tried staying alive down there with 2 hammers, and it's possible, but man, you have to get really lucky with the health drops. I was like walking through trees. It's crazy how you could just knock down a tree with your armor. Okay, so now the dragons are coming. So what I like to do when I'm fighting with dragons, I like to not get bitten for one, but what I like to do is I like to strafe in a circle and then just hammer towards the center of that circle, almost like the wing diver strategy where you just kind of circle around and then they land where you were, and then you kill them as they land. And like I said, you can get away with it on this wave because they're not super fast. But there is one red dragon, but like I said, the guy with missiles can always stun that dragon until it's dead. So, and also you can stun it with hammers too if you actually can hit them. That's why I like the Finest is pretty good, because the Finest will actually stun the dragon if you have a red charge. But now it's just the red left, and it takes a long time to kill him on Inferno, but we eventually get him down. And now there's 2 remaining spawns enemies left. So the next thing you're gonna want to do is, and by now if you have Air Raider in a Walking Fortress, you won't quite have the Walking Fortress. Usually you'll need to kill a few more, but like I said, it's not too bad. You'll have the fortress when you need it for the 3rd wave. But usually if you have a sniper, you can stay at spawn the whole time and just put your bunkers down and just have someone snipe each of the spawns and then come back to the shield, and you can pull everything that way as well, which is a lot easier. But so there's 2 spawns remaining. There's a set of red ants and a set of gray ants. So what we're going to do is we're going to kill the, I believe we're going to kill the reds first, because the reds don't quite pull the 3rd wave for some reason. It has to do with, I guess, the number of kills or number of enemies on the screen. I'm not sure, but yeah, this thing takes forever to kill. Each of my hammers, I think, does 1800 or something like that. So he comes actually over here because he's going to stay up top now, because what he's going to do is he's going to stay up here because the next set of dragons, the final set, is going to spawn towards the bottom of the map. So I'm going to try and take all the I'm going to try and take all the aggro, the dragons, while he's covering me with missiles. So now we're going to kill the reds next, and it won't pull the dragons, and then all we have left is the grays, which by then everything comes, so you just have to survive and hope. But these aren't too bad. He's going to missile into first, and then I'm just going to finish him off with the hammers. Sometimes they come early, but I wonder if it's because maybe we killed an extra ant or killed an extra enemy in one of the groups, but I'm not sure. But the reason we're killing these reds is because if we don't, when he missiles things, the reds will come after him while we're fighting, and it'll mess up his ability to missile. So now this is the final part, the hardest part. So he's going to get ready, heal up, and be ready, being away from the dragon spawn, so as far as possible to the back. And I mean, he needs to be able to be within reach with the missiles, but the dragons are going to come from the left side there, the back left side, the bottom of the hill. So like I said, if you can at all possible, you want to stay near some of the mountain cliffs, because the dragons will land on the cliffs. But yeah, here comes the dragons already. So I'm going to just head over here by this mountain, by this cliffside, and I'm just going to try and stay alive at the start here, because they're going to all land. And then when I get a chance, I'll turn around and attack. Always keeping an eye out where the health is at, so I can return to the health. That's why I like 2 Finest hammers, because you can always move forward, and you can also attack more enemies with it, of course. And of course, be aware of your reload time, so that you can always be ready to just mash the trigger so you swing right away as soon as you reload, and then keep moving. But now I'm just going to try and work my way towards the health, and he's missiling as much as he can. There is some dragons that attack him, but he kills them, and then it gets pretty close. Like, I get pretty close to death. I want to say I get to 70 health or something at one time, but yeah, even now I don't feel good about it, because these reds can just come by and do, yeah, 45 health was the lowest I got to. But those reds can come by and take a couple thousand off you, which is pretty ridiculous. But if you can have someone that can missile, you can really help stun and keep the dragons stunned the whole time, which is ultimately the best idea. So now we're feeling pretty good, because yeah, they're all reds left, but I mean, it's still possible to die, but he has the ability to missile them now, so he's just gonna, I speed up to 4x time, because it takes us, like, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes just to finish these last 2, because we're trying to play it safe, because this is the first time we completed it with the low health, so figured it'd be safe with missiles, then regret it later. But yeah, that's we found how to do it with reduced health Ultimately, like I said, with Air Raider it'd be the easiest because you know you may have reduced health, but you have absolute bunkers that have a lot of health, so you can still get around that. But yeah, this is what we found on this mission. Give it a try, and thanks for watching. See you next time.